What? You think I have something to say? I don't. Future me. Just roll the intro. Hey guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And it's that time again. Horror literature has presented me with yet another summit. Huh? What? You telling me that horror literature is over? That it's past the new year and is into 2025? And it happened even before the release of my How Tall is Cthulhu video? And that's into the second semester at the time of recording this video? No! Well, I already wrote the script, so technically I started, so I'm gonna finish it, because nothing stops me from finishing my unfinished work, not even it being late! So, let's see what our topic is today. And it's The Haunting of Hill House. Ooh, I love a good haunted house. Man, if only you had a unit in Mascot Horror, because if that was the case, I would have done my summative like years ago. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a video right here, go check it out, wink wink. So, where was I again? Ah yes, The Haunting of Hill House. But first, we need a little backstory. So I was completing missing work when I came across the final missing assignment, The Haunting of Hill House summative. And my question was, what the hell do I make a video about? And so I asked my teacher, and he said to make a video about what is Haunting Hill House. Which, I mean, what the hell is Haunting Hill House? It may sound very vague. Is it the creator? The companion? The sister? Something more? Seriously, Shirley Jackson, I need to know! I don't need sleep, I need answers! So let me take out my jar number 1 from the Gravity Falls episode, and let's get cracking. So before we can deduct who is Haunting Hill House, we need to figure out what is Haunting Hill House. So according to my research, and by research I mean Google AI telling me what the different ghost types were in Phasmophobia, because I figured at the time with how detailed the game was that the different ghost types, I think I must have done the research, that there are 18 different ghost types. The 18 ghost types are Banshees, Demons, Daogons, Gyros, I think I pronounced that right, Jinns, Mares, Yuris, Mylings, God I'm butchering all these, Obakes, Oni, Poltergeist, Raiju, Reverence, Shades, Spirits, Ties, and... Okay, so right off the bat we can eliminate Spirits, because a spirit is just another term for the soul or a ghost. The Mimic is also eliminated because it's not a ghost, it's a fictional robot, so no, we are not including that. And finally we can remove Demons, because a demon is specifically a creature from Hell, and Hill Houses, well, important to be inhabited by a human spirit. So not that one either. Now the rest are a little bit more tricky. Let's start with the Daogon. The Daogon is not a type of ghost, but rather a very specific ghost. It's a singular entity, but we are looking for a type of ghost, not a single ghost. So the search marches on. A mare is a type of horse, so that also needs to go. I can only find non-paranormal definitions of the word shade, so that too is lost to time. This leaves us with 12 possible ghost types. So then we need to know what our ghost is capable of, so that way then we can compare it to the other ghosts. Paranormal phenomena are messages appearing on the walls, which happens around the middle of the book, with the walls having the phrase "Help Eleanor come home" written in chalk, which is the house's way of telling her to become one with the house, for lack of a better term. Becoming the house's resident? Yeah, that's better. Knocking on doors, which only ends once Eleanor becomes one with the house. Movement of said doors, where we see the very door handle turn, and the door being knocked on so hard that it vibrates and it looks like it's going to come off its hinges. Hearing noises, such as a little girl singing or laughing, which Eleanor starts to hear once she becomes quote-unquote one with the house. And before then, she can also hear laughing. And when she's away from the crew, they can hear a voice that isn't her voice. Things moving in the corner of one's eye, which I can only assume is what Dr. Montague saw when he was alone. Cold areas, even though computers say otherwise. The computer in question here being an analog computer known as a thermometer, which when dropped in the cold area, didn't show any changes in temperature. The seeing of apparitions, specifically of a dog, something unknown, and people having a picnic. All things the crew sees. The possible possession of one of the characters, the said character being Eleanor when she becomes part of the house, losing control over her actions and being manipulated by some outside force to do crazy things like knocking on the doors and whatnot. And finally, the recreating of memories of life, going back to that one picnic scene I mentioned. That is quite the list, and with this data, I was able to reduce our list down to 5 things. The Poltergeist, Jinn, Banshee, Reverend, and Yuri. I chose these because they were either A, that mysterious, or B, fit the description. So, how do we know which one is correct? Why, with Boolean algebra, of course. Boolean algebra, for those of you not in the know, it was a special mathematical concept invented by a guy whose last name was Boole. He put math to logic, with the number 1 representing a true statement, and a 0 representing a false statement. Where was I? Ah yes! Haunting of Hill House. Sorry about that, I got lost in the Boolean algebra for a moment there. In this case, we'll create a table, with the x-axis representing the type of spirit, and the y-axis representing some of the different paranormal phenomena that we see. Being look like a kid, look like an animal, making Ryan appear, knocking, manipulating of objects, speaking, creating cold spots, manipulation of people or their actions, and creating memories respectively. If you get ones all the way down, then congrats! We have a winner. If not, well then we'll have to get the one closest to. Now because I couldn't find anything about this, I'm going to put 1 for every single ghost type in the recreating memories section, since I can only assume that recreating memories would be from those of the deceased. Now it's time for the main event. Leave your bets in the comments below. I gave the extra points, did the math, the rest did it, now here we are. The Banshee won last place with a grand total of the 4 true statements. Banshee can look like a little girl and look like an animal, but they can't write. They are able to knock, but aside from that they can't manipulate objects, they can't speak, yes even though they can cry. They can't create cold spots, can't manipulate people's actions, and we already gave them a point for recreating memories from life. The Reverend and Yuri tie for 3rd place with 5 true statements. They can both look like a little kid, but only the Reverend can look like an animal, with its primary animal form being a wolf or a dog-looking creature. Lucky us! They can both create writing, though only the Yuri can manipulate objects. Both can't speak or make any intellectual noise whatsoever. They can't create cold spots. Yuri's can manipulate people's actions, but Reverends can't. And of course, both get bonus points for power of recreating memories. Now down to just 2. The Jinn and the Poltergeist. If you guys guessed the Jinn, then congratulations, here's a cookie, for you won the I Tried My Best award. Get trolled. But if you picked the Poltergeist, then here's this cake, which lucky you have won. Let's first start off by analyzing the Jinn. They get 2nd place for having 6 true statements. Being able to look like a kid, look like an animal, they can make writing appear though they can't knock. They can manipulate objects. They can't speak or create any cold spots, but they are able to manipulate one's actions and recreate memories. And then finally, the Poltergeist, with 8 true statements. There's my favorite number, everyone. Being able to take the form of a little girl and animal, make writing appear, knock on doors, manipulate objects, create cold spots, manipulate one's actions, and recreate memories. That's as close as we're gonna get, let's just roll with it. So now we know the properties of the creature, we can use that to figure out who the spirit is. You might have noticed if you're paying careful attention that poltergeists can't speak. That is because they're creatures of pure emotion, specifically negative emotions. No intelligence whatsoever. So whoever this is must have very distressing emotions, and that gives us Hugh Crane and the companion, the adopted friend of the oldest daughter of Hugh Crane. Now, Crane seems tempting because he had 3 wives, all of which died tragically. He also has a book with his blood in it, a blood signature to be exact. His spirit could be tied to that book. But the more likely option, and the one that I believe, is that it was the companion. Let's look at the evidence. First, let's address what she went through. She suffered at the hands of the younger sister of the oldest daughter of Hugh Crane. She claimed that the house belonged to her and that the companion stole it. She turned the whole town against her. Even her friends and family were turned. It was an awful fate, but that's nothing compared to how she died. You see, she didn't die in an accident like Crane's wives. She died at her own hands via unalivement. And this is the reason why I find her to be the most likely candidate. She died under intense stress, perfect to create a poltergeist. So yeah, that's it. Question answered. So why is the video continuing? What? There's still so much script left. Why is it? No. No, come on, I got rid of it. No, I ruled it out because of how the book is said to work. No! No, God, please, no! 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 It's a demon! Demons check off all the boxes with 9 true statements. They can look like little girls, with it being said they use it to lure in their victims. The voice of a little girl making Eleanor more attracted to the house after she becomes one with it, then leading her to her demise. They can look like dogs. These are specifically known as hellhounds. They can manipulate objects, knock on doors. They can make writing appear on the walls through hallucinations. They can make cold spots, manipulate people, and if we just edit the definition of the last part to make it a memory of the past of the house, then yeah, sure, it's totally possible that the demon could have created a hallucination. The book Silent Blood is a religious book, talking about how the human race are damned. And it also mentions how signing something in blood seals a promise. So what if he did that? What if he sealed the promise with a demon? I'm sorry, going full conspiracy theorist, but this makes too much sense. What's haunting Hill House isn't a human spirit, it's a demon. And that is the horrifying truth of Hill House. But hey, that's just a theory. A horror theory. As always, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Until next time.